Bayern Munich hopes to get past Holstein Kiel on Wednesday the 13th of January in their second round matchup of the DFB Cup as they seek to defend their title.
Alaba! Brilliant free kick from the Austrian!
It's another must-watch match you cannot afford to miss on Wednesday the 13th of January from 10:45 p.m. live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Ashok, it is impossible for you to escape from the trap that I have set for you.
Hey Lord, I only have one son, Lord. Please spare his life, Lord. Please spare his life.
I swear if I'm lying, then you may die. Or maybe I die first.
Huh? Who had come here? This is the kind of security arrangements you have. Will someone answer me?
Embakasi utawala tuko locked. Ungem Utanyahururu Kasuku Massive.
Jeshi ya Nyeri Coast Maua na Kura kwa locked mbaya.
Kigumo Ward na ambao wote wako ndani ya KBC Channel 1.
Akulaliki Wednesday bila the ref.
Mbotela Auta Idara Kitengela.
Kiambu County 33 Pipeline Meru anawakilisha.
Rongai Maboksa pale go down. Karatina Auta Mlolongo wana enjoy show. Lare Sub County Auta Githurai 45. Lanet Barracks tuko ndani yake. Okongo Auta Carnation Maragwa Seti Nairobi.
Fika wako locked mbaya sana.
Watu wangu wa Nakuru, Ngwaro.
Auta Gilgil. Live kutoka Mazeras, Bahati Massive. Embo
Thika Massive.
Siaya, Shikambi, Kakamega, Bungoma County.
Busia Boda.
Kisumu City.
Malindi yote iko ndani ya the ref.
When I'm in Kenya, I tune in to the rave. Get your mind brave, focus, conscious.
Kenya.
East Africa.
Right.
Keep it locked.
Simujifanya ni washindani. Ngoja usiku ifike.
Mimi ni paka mwitu, nitakupa pura.
Ni usiku sasa, matatizo kuna nini?
Mtume! Nilikwambia wacha kuzungumza na mwanamke. She has no respect. Coming to my party. Wataka kunipiga? Nipige. Kuwa makini sana ule mke wako. La usivyo tukugharimu.
Mamako mwenyewe. Wewe usiniudhi. Sawa, wewe ulimwona mamangu.
Huwezi kunisaidia? Nenda zako. To you too. Cheers.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning, the 11th day of January 2021. And in the past hour, we have seen the handing over ceremony of the reins of power at the judiciary with Chief Justice Emeritus David Kenani Maraga handing over the reins of power to the Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, who now is the acting Chief Justice and also the acting President of the Supreme Court of the Republic of Kenya. My name is Daniel Wahome. You can get to watch us. It's live on KBC Channel 1 and also on YouTube, KBC Channel 1 shows. And it's right live there. Our Twitter handle is at KBC Channel 1. Mine is at Mr. Wahome, MISTAWA Home. Our sign language interpreter is Lenta Odingo. Time to get into a sporting conversation. And we know that for the past 10 months or so, a lot of sporting activities have been put to a halt. There was actually very little sporting activities. Whatever we could see was darts, because you could play at home as part of most of the countries were on lockdown, restrictions of movement, and contact between people was not allowed. But we have seen sport come back, guidelines being issued, and how do you respond to this? As they're saying, it's a new normal. And what is it that federations, clubs, or even individual sportsmen need to do to engage with the public and ensure that there's some revenue streams coming through? To get into that discussion, on my immediate left, of course, I'll start with the lady. Cynthia Mumbo, she has played basketball. She calls herself a baller, that's what she says, and is the CEO of Sport Connect. And a very good morning to you and welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. And also, we're joined by the president of the Kenya Rugby League Federation, not to be confused with Rugby Union. Well, Rugby League is 13-a-side rugby, Richard Quicks Nyakwakwa. And get used to the formality of this, so I'll call you Richard. I know you prefer Quicks.
Happy New Year, homie.
Okay. Happy New Year to you. And Quicks, first of all, for a sport like yours, which is a contact sport, rugby league, you've not been allowed to get back to action. And so it behoves now on the players to stay active and alive at this time. What's it that the Rugby League Federation is doing to make sure that, players, number one, stay fit even without the contact training?
Oh, thank you very much. Number one, it's a bit of a challenge to keep players fit when there's no competition or any tournament, because normally you put a training program, whether it is skills training or strength and conditioning in preparation for a certain competition or league. But then if you just train without any set timetable, then it's a waste of resources and a waste of time to the players, because then you get very fit, but then there's no action. So again, you lose it. So we've been trying to maybe try to help them to focus on individual skill training, because that one can do forever. It's unfortunate that this is the new normal, like you said. I guess all sports federations now have had to be a bit more creative and think deeper in terms of more sustainable revenue streams to fund the games and leagues. Because as we know, a lot of corporates have almost demolished all their marketing budgets. So it will be a challenge to be able to attract sponsors, because even when the games resume, again, to be a restricted number of fans back on the stadium.
And Cynthia, this is where I want you to come in and get into this conversation about, positioning yourself. We have seen, for example, when the Bundesliga started, no fans allowed. It was one of the first leagues to resume action. What is it that is, required to get to the fan so that there is some engagement and there is a spend for that event?
Well, it's sports is about the athletes and it's about the fans. And in between there, it's about showing the fans what the athletes are doing. So broadcast plays a very big role in getting this activity to the fans. In Kenya and in Africa, we've moved from analog to digital pretty quickly. So practically every young guy has a mobile phone. So how are we using that platform? How are we using OTT, as we call it, the over the top? Over the top. So
a brutal competition.
Exactly. Yeah, so how are we using YouTube? How are we using streaming services? Do you have partnerships with streaming services? How are we working with those kind of platforms to make sure that our games are available? I believe FKF PL have a partnership with a broadcaster, and you're able to watch the games on an application. And Nigeria Premier League, just about 2 weeks ago, they launched NPFL TV, so you can be able to watch NPFL TV through the NPFL TV app or stream it through NPFL TV online. So there's definitely opportunities around being able to bring the fans to the pitch, even if they're not there physically.
And Quicks, let me come in, and this is where I want you to look at the different sports. For example, simple things like football. Let's talk about volleyball or an athletics event. Vis-a-vis the cost of having, number one, you need to have your phone powered if you're going to watch it on an application.
Right.
You need to have data, or as we call it in this country, bundles. You need the bundles.
Yes.
So how then do you engage, for example, with some of these players who are out there to ensure that it's cost effective and it makes sense at the end of the day for the federation or the club?
So you mean in terms of broadcasting?
Yes, for broadcast.
Away from the stadium. Yeah, fantastic stuff. One of the first challenges is going to be that because sports has been closed for a while now, so a lot of your so-called, there's always different level of fans. There are so-called die-hard fans. There are those sitting on the wall fans who maybe watch sports because they're bored. Then there are those ones on the left who actually, you have to make the game interesting for them to come. So a lot of these borderline people and the guys on the left, you've lost them. So again, so federations have to do a bit more market analysis and look how they can attract these ones back to online TV and stuff like that. That's going to be a challenge, and it's a task that I believe they can work on it collectively. And then so they want to get them back. It doesn't matter because what we know that in fact it's cheaper than them going to the stadium for the fans. Of course, the experience is different because you see, for example, you can share data. Me, you, and Cynthia, you can watch the same game on the same laptop, even 10 of us. Okay. But if you go to the stadium, you'll have to pay our tickets, you have to do our transport, you have to do our meals, snacks and stuff like that. So in fact, it should be cheaper if it's designed well. It should be cheaper for the federations to host the matches and drive traffic online, whether it is TV, whether it is the internet, YouTube and stuff like that. And they'll be able to even get much more viewership than relying on stadium alone. The stadium is a bit restrictive. And in this age and the situation in the world, for you to make your progress, your sports product progress, you must be able to have it available live online, anywhere in the world.
And I also want to come into that to that point. I saw in South Africa, they tried this, and you could tell they tried to put out some enthusiasm, make it exciting. The question is, Quicks has mentioned that, you know, there's somebody who's out there on the fence, the borderline fan. Then there is this person who's in there, who either goes for the social reason or just for the real reason of the game. The virtual fan engagement, what has been the talk about it? What has been the reaction to it?
Yeah, I'm very excited. You're asking that because we're currently working on a couple of projects. We've partnered with a company in Finland called Choicely, and we're doing very interesting stuff. So what teams need to do, what federations need to do, is create fan apps. Can fans vote? How do you reward the fan? You know, how do you engagement in this case is not just the fan coming to give you their time. It's what are you giving back to the fan for them giving you their time. Can they vote on their favorite players? Can they meet their favorite players on, you know, your social media platforms or on these fan platforms? Can they purchase merchandise and stuff on the platform? Can they buy virtual tickets? I mean, it's virtually impossible to talk about all the things that you can be able to do, but the idea is, can you notify them when a game is coming, talk to them, make them feel special, because that's what fans want, you know, and it's that will make the difference. Fan engagement is not about really just showing the fan the game. It's about rewarding the fan and making the fan feel like they're part of the conversation, and technology is making that very easy now.
What have been the takeouts from this kind of engagement? For example, doing it virtually and engaging with the fan. What have been the positives? What have been the negatives?
There's a lot of positive in that you can collect data, which is very valuable. So in this case, I'll give an example. If your game is on Saturday at 4 p.m., you have a notification going out to guys at 8 a.m. And say 2,000, 20,000, 100,000 of them respond at your game at 4 p.m. You can be able to tell who they are. You can be able, all that data is so valuable. You can be able to tell what time they'll come on. You can be able to tell how much time they're spending watching a game. Is it 15 minutes? And is it 15 minutes at the end of the game? Is it 15 minutes before the game? Is it just before the halftime? Are they watching highlights only? And with this, you're able to go back to a potential partner and say, look, these guys are online. I have 100,000 people watching my game at this particular moment. And they come in, they watch the game for 15 minutes. So in between these 15 minutes, you have a window where we can engage the fans. You can be able to bring your brand onto the fans. And that's stuff that I think is really important. Negative, I haven't seen so much any negative because we're still learning a lot around this. I think it's just the uptick when it comes to our part of the continent. We're still as technologically advanced as we are, like in Kenya, we're way ahead of most countries. In terms of just accepting that this is an opportunity for us to work with, teams and also just teams and federations having an understanding of that. I think is a big issue. You know, you have to go sit there and explain to them and say this is where the value is, and you need somebody internally to be able to manage this particular technology and this particular platform for you. So investing in that is usually the big challenge that we see, but otherwise I think it's very exciting stuff.
Well, talking about fan engagement and you have been involved in an event that burst at the seams. Talking about the famous Machakos Sevens.
Right.
And from your experience of how fans were engaged, such that it took hours to cover 56 kilometers from Nairobi.
Right.
8 hours.
Yeah.
I think that was in 2014.
Yeah.
2012 and 2013 were a bit different. And now, what are the methods used then that now can be used to get the fan online?
Again, first of all, you need to define your product, and then define it in depth, and then as you're defining it, you're also developing or redeveloping it. So as you're developing it, you're also developing it with in mind on who you want to plug in, whether it is partners, strategic partners, sponsors, the participating teams, the fans, and stuff like that. So then you develop an integrated product that is attractive to everyone, and it is doable. We've shown it before. We've proven that it's possible before in this country, and the same. It just needs to go online now, which I believe should be much more easier, if you ask me. And then the only other aspect also that federations can look into is to find a way of how they can develop commercial models to fund the federations, the leagues, the players and stuff like that. Not over-reliance on sponsorship has really stemmed our development as sports federations in Kenya. Because you see, you get into partnership with a brand, they give you a two-year or 1 year contract, they pump millions into it, maybe 20 million for the season. Then at the end of the season, they say, oops, sorry, our strategy just changed. We no longer, football or rugby is no longer our priority. We move to other CSR stuff. So from 20 million high, you come down to 0. We're starting from scratch again. But then if they, like it's proven all over the world, like Cynthia was saying, about developing stuff like merchandise, brand partnership, whether it is with water, whether it is with in tracksuits, stuff like that. I mean, you've seen how all other big clubs in the world do it. And also, they need to start being bold and eventually start going into listing into the stock exchange. Those are the things that will be the new normal, okay? So that once you have a product, like the one we did in Masaku, we never relied on sponsorship at the beginning, but the product was so great. In fact, sponsors were lining up. We never looked for them at all. And that was a strategy. It was an elaborate.
And cars also lining up.
So, yeah, of course.
From Lolongo.
Yes, of course. So development make it so nice. The sponsors will come knocking on the door on their own without you having to spend any money going to look for them to pitch for PowerPoints and send proposals and make calls that people don't return the calls. We went through that cycle and we said enough is enough. So I would urge all sports federation to develop really robust products in terms of whether it is the league, whether it is the tournaments, and have a commercial design in mind, and that way it is sustainable. So at the end of the season, you still have funds that you can put in development, because you see, one of the best ways for you to commercialize is that you need to have high performance in your top league, whether it is volleyball, basketball, netball, and all that. But for you to have high performance, fans need to see exciting players. You know, players who have got skills that will wow them and will make them get excited and they'll want to follow them. But for you to get the players playing at that top level, you need to get them when they're 9 years old in primary schools and secondary schools. So federations must fund development. Currently, it's all over the place. It's been left to the Kenya Secondary Sports Association, which is not doing much. Then the main job is just to organize competition. But you must identify players young, develop them, track them. Then that is the talent that in 4 or 5 years comes into your top league. They're exciting. They attract the fans. Sponsors and partners just want to see the numbers. Once they know your games are sold out, you've got 20,000 fans, whether it is 1 million watching online, they check in. And even when you send merchandise, whether you're making one bob only per top, if you sell $1 million, that's $1 million shillings. Yeah.
Well, very interesting mathematics. Sell 1 million jerseys. Now, FC Leopards and Gor Mahia, I'll mention these clubs. They've gone out on a merchandising spree. And there is a way that it's segmented. For example, if you're AFC Leopards, if you're a member, you buy your jersey cheaper than a non-member. And then, Cynthia, want to ask, then how do you, for example, in a country like Kenya, ensure that somebody can spend 3,000 shillings or let's say $30 on a jersey and not complain about it? We know Kenyans love everything extremely cheap, not cost efficient, just going for cheap.
Right, so if you understand that about Kenyans, how do you position your product, right? The thing here is understand your customer, right? What do Kenyans want? They want to watch the game. I mean, Kenyans are buying shirts for EPL teams at 6,000, 7,000 shillings. They're not complaining. Why? It's because the positioning. It's been positioned as a premium product. It's something that when I wear that shirt, I am proud because I'm representing this. Even if they are buying a bootleg one, in their minds, I'd rather spend 2,500 shillings on a bootleg EPL shirt than spend 2,500 shillings on a local shirt, right? So for me, it's a very big question around positioning. And positioning doesn't happen overnight. Brand positioning, you must understand what, like Quick says, you know, what's my brand? What's my team? Who are my stars? Kenyans and fans in general, they don't follow the leaders of leagues. I don't want to know who the president of a league is, and consistently that's what we're seeing. I don't want to know the election cycle. I don't want to know that. I mean, it's part of news, yes. It can even be in the business news or whatever. But you want, consistently, I want to know who the star is. I want to know he moved from God to FC. Oh, and who is he, and what does he like to do, and I want to be like him. Then I will purchase stuff because I want to be like that athlete. You have to invest behind that building of the brand. It's not going to happen overnight. The commercial conversation is very, very important. You cannot rely on sponsors. And the conversation that we usually have in Africa and in Kenya is it's a Kenyan conversation. Tunaomba usaidizi wa. Tunaomba usaidizi. Tunaomba.
Instant coffee.
Yeah, but you see, sponsors, partners, stakeholders are not in the business of helping. They're in the business of business. So they, for them, are thinking, I can only be associated with your brand if it makes sense for me, right? And they will put in their money. Your fans will come and put in their money and say, I don't mind spending on this because it's worthwhile.
Cynthia Mumbo, she is the CEO of Sports Connect Africa. And also we have Richard Nyakwaka. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for making time for us this Monday morning, talking about sports. Basically, instant coffee mentality has to go out, develop that athlete, and it will just bring all the revenue in. We'll be taking a short break, and next we'll be talking about Paralympics. You know, disability is not inability. We've got great athletes who represented the country, and this is a year when they will be headed to Japan in August. A short break, and we will be joined by Coach Michael Omondi, who is a Paralympics coach, and also we've got Ruth Mweni, who is a member of the board of the National Paralympic Committee. That's in about 2 minutes' time.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Ashok, it is impossible for you to escape from the trap that I have set for you.
Hey, Lord. Hey, Lord. I only have one son, Lord. Please spare his life, Lord. Please spare his life.
I swear if I'm lying, then you may die. Or maybe I die first.
Huh? Who had come here? This is the kind of security arrangements you have. Will someone answer me?
Unichukulie kwa mfano ndani ya matatu.
Unajua Saturday yaandikangu hivyo.
Ni nini wewe?
Yaani mtu mzima na miaka zake hizo miaka zote. Mtu hajui kujua kuandika note. Note tu peke yake. Kusoma kweli inasaidia.
Kijana, nini nakusumbua na mimi?
Nauliza ni ungwana?
Don't you dare insult me, okay?
Mama Angel,
Don't you
point
dare.
me.
Oh, please.
Let the dead bury.
They are dead, right?
Hizo viatu zake zinanuka. Songea huko. Haya. Kwani ni vita? Ni nini wewe? Yaani wataka kumpiga. Huwezi mpiga, umpige nini?
The battle for the last 16 places of the DFB Pokal, better known as German Cup, is on. As former champions Bayer Leverkusen and Eintracht Frankfurt face off, hoping to book their place against Ottoways SN. Watch it unfold live on your true sports partner KBC Channel 1 on Tuesday the 12th of January from 10:45 p.m.
Mjifanya ni washindani. Ngoja usiku ifike.
Mimi ni paka mwitu, nitakupa pura.
Ni usiku sasa, matatizo kuna nini?
Mtume! Nilikwambia wacha kuzungumza na mwanamke. She has no respect. Coming to my party.
Wacha kunipiga, nipige. Kuwa makini sana ule mke wako. La usivyo tukugharimu.
Mamako mwenyewe. Wewe usiniudhi. Sawa, wewe ulimwona mamangu.
Huwezi kunisaidia. Nenda zako. To you too. Cheers.
Get ready for a 3 weeks Africa Football Feast as the new year kicks off with the 6th edition of the African Nations Championship in Cameroon. From the 16th of January to the 7th of February 2021, 16 teams from the continent will be spread across 3 cities as the best players from domestic leagues showcase their talents live on KBC Channel 1. Let's support our own. Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
But I'm hoping to see you on Monday and make plans to meet again so we could talk. I need to let you know what I feel for you.
Oh, darling. I cannot wait any longer to see you again. To hold you again. And to once again show you that I love you. I hope that you'll be here for my birthday, Juliana.
Cons, I don't think we should get married.
Why are you telling me this right now, Max?
There's another woman in my life.
You realized what?
The love that I feel for you.
And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. My name is Daniel Wahome. Our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. We continue with conversations, but also a general look at what's happening in the news. We know that Chief Justice Emeritus David Maraga has handed over the reins of power at the judiciary to Lady Justice Philomena Mwilu, who is the Deputy Chief Justice and also right now is going to act as the Chief Justice and also will be acting as the President of the Supreme Court of Kenya. Also happening in the news, Majority Whip Senator Irungu Kangata was trying to make more clarity and to give clarity on a statement that he made, and Gladys Mungai is a reporter who will be giving us that story later today. And we get into our second interview, and this is going to be about Paralympics. It's a year when we've got the Olympics and the Paralympics. The Olympics take place in June, July. A month later, you have got the Paralympic Games hosted in the same city, in the same country, every 4 years. And to get into conversation about that, we've got a coach, Michael Omondi, who is here with us. Oh, Michael, by the way, Wakenya wanataka kukuona eh?
Oh, thank you.
Kofia ni yetu ndio.
Yes, thank you.
Na pia unaruhusiwa pia kutoa barakoa. Please just remove it so that it's
okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Coach, and welcome to KBC Channel 1. And we also have got a lady who is a board member of the National Paralympic Committee, Ruth Mweni. Ruth, welcome.
Thank you.
And Ruth, let me start with you. At least you are representing the chair, who we expected to host this morning, Agnes Luch. And from the board perspective, what has the process been like as you prepare for Tokyo 2020, which is happening in 2021?
The process has not been easy, but well, we have tried our best with the support from the government, especially from the State Department of Sports. It has been challenging because of the last year COVID-19 pandemic, as most of our athletes were not able to practice and train well, but we thank God for the far. And so far, we have qualified 4 athletes. At the moment, we have 1 in para rowing, Asia Mohammed. We have 2 athletes for track, and also we have another athlete in powerlifting, that is Helen Wawira. So we are still trying, after our trials that we did on Monday on 4th, that we're engaging the Department of Sports for them to be able to support us so that we may be able to qualify more athletes in the upcoming event in Dubai, that is on 7th to 14th February, so that we may qualify more athletes towards Tokyo this year.
And Ruth, let me just get back. You mentioned the rowing athletes. The 2 track athletes who qualified, you could tell the Kenyans about them.
Yeah, the 2 is Nancy Chelagat and also Samuel Mushai.
Well, Samuel Mushai actually is a person who's made a name for himself. And let me come to you, Coach. One of the things that around March, April, that we did was whenever we had conversations with coaches was to ask them how they are engaging with the athletes. You could tell us about how you kept, your para athletes going.
According to COVID pandemic 19, things were hard. But as we coaches, we communicated with athletes. We were just doing physical training in the house and wherever they were, because we could not break the COVID-19 rules. Even right now, many athletes were not training as we require them to be trained to achieve good standard of participation. Lakini kulingana na sheria vile iko, kuna wachezaji ambao kuna uzoefu ambao wanaelewa what they are supposed to do in order to get good result. As we know very well, Olympic is not a joke. All countries who are participating in Olympics, most of them, they know Kenya in athletics. They are training for Kenya. And as we coaches, definitely, tunaangalia the world standard. Even now, sisi tuna train now our athletes. But the problem we are having right now, as you see, many of our athletes, they are self-employed. Now COVID will affect their businesses. So some of them, as you know, without money, it cannot access you to reach the where you are supposed to reach. For example, kama sasa tukitaka kwenda for hill work, most of us tunaenda Ngong, and if you want to do maybe long run, tunaenda kama Karura, and you see maybe some athletes are staying away from Nairobi. So fare inakuwa problem, but we prepared them and we are still preparing them in order to achieve what we want them to achieve.
And Ruth, let me come to you because the coach has mentioned about resources, and from the board's point, I'd like to make a reference that was made last week by the National Olympic Committee of Kenya. We had hosted them here. They've set out, they had a meeting with Cabinet Secretary for Sport, Ambassador Amina Mohammed, late last year, and they agreed on a program running up to the games, indicating the teams that need to be qualified or individual athletes that need to be qualified. What is in place for such a program so that athletes are able to train?
For us in Paralympics, you know, we are planning right now to take like 65 contingents in Dubai, because you understand that if we have athletes who are visually impaired, they need guides.
Oh yes, that's standard.
Yes.
Henry Wanyoike and Kibunja are the biggest story.
Yeah. So you might ask yourself, why is that the contingent is too big? It's not too big. Even we're supposed to take even more, because all of them who participated during the trials, they have the minimum and also the maximum trial point. So we are planning to take that contingent because our focus and our agenda is to participate more athletes. We have more slots during the Tokyo Games. And we are also planning to engage more partners, whether private and also the government, because the government has been supporting us all the way, even during the previous tournaments that Paralympics has been participating. So we are also planning to engage ourselves with other stakeholders, and we are also requesting them that if we come to your office, if we send a proposal, if we want to engage with you, please just link us up so that we may be able to take more athletes, partner with us so that we may also be able to take more athletes. Apart from the athletics, we also have other qualifiers, that is also powerlifting. That is, the team is supposed to participate in Colombia, Manchester, and also Dubai. You understand that for Paralympics to be able to participate in any Olympics, they have to participate in 3 or more tournaments for them to have the qualifying slot and the ranking mark.
And we're not living in normal times, especially think of the UK, because you mentioned Manchester. Flight restrictions to the United Kingdom are heavy, and we are talking about, probably a month or two. What would be an alternative place? You've mentioned Colombia, you mentioned Biden, and the other places. What would be an alternative qualifying event if Manchester is not possible?
If Manchester is not possible, we are on engagement with International Paralympic Committee body so that they may be able to preserve for us another country so that our athletes may be able to participate. And also not only for Kenya, COVID-19 has affected the world all over. So we are also engaging with other participating countries so that we may be able to know which is the convenient place for athletes to be able to participate and also qualify for Tokyo.
Now, you've mentioned Dubai because Paralympics, para-athletics, especially in Dubai, is always huge, and you've got that huge number, Coach Michael. And the thing is now, how do you want to engage these athletes? Because so far, if only in 2 in track, that would be an odd entry for Kenya. How do you expect to get them up there? I mean, we saw what happened, was it last year, but one in Morocco? The medal haul was quite unexpected. Now, what is it that you want to see so that 2 years down the line, the momentum built over time is not lost?
Tuelewa vile kuna vienda, especially kama those international athletes, and someone like Muchai, and the name you have heard, those who qualified, na hata wale ambao hawaja qualify. Tunaelewa time ile ambao wanastahili kupata, and is what we are working on. Right now, kama ministry itakubali kutoa pesa kwa njia inastahili, so that tunaweza kuweka athletes wote pamoja, tutaachieve. Because right now, most of them, mahali wameenda, I don't think kama wako sawa. But once we can be together, hata kama ni 3 weeks, we shall achieve.
All right. Now, you've mentioned something. Wako sawa. Can you just give an assessment of the trials that took place on Monday? Where did you find your athletes? Because we know we've got somebody in the javelin.
Yes.
The javelin throw, actually, it's done off a wheel from a seated position.
Yes.
We've got sprinters.
Yes.
We've also got those who are visually impaired. So where would you play? Would you place them at 60%, 70%, 80%?
85%.
Utaki wakasirikia coach?
No. Wako sawa, hawezi wakasirika because we are not guessing. We know their performance. Sawa nimesema not sawa, where the word not sawa comes from. I know most of them wana problem ya financial. So that financial inaweza kuwazuia kuenda mahali tunastahili waende in order to achieve before the time of competition days. You see, like even Mushai is a good athlete. Lakini bila kutrain hard, hawezi kuwa smart.
Yes.
Kuna wale ambao wanatrain because of him. So financially, it's a problem. So kila ambacho mimi ningeomba maybe KNPC na our stakeholders kupeana camp. Hata kama ni 3 weeks, au wachezaji wakuwe pamoja, tutaachieve.
3 weeks is what you want, coach?
Because now, from now to the date, I don't know. But I could require even more than a month.
Somebody on the board is hearing you say that.
Yes.
So Ruth, for the board, and let me look at the medal haul from the Paralympic Games of Rio 2016. 6 medals, 3 gold, 1 silver, 2 bronze. How do you want to, as a board, how do you want to support coach and the other, and the entire coaching staff? And what kind of medal haul can we expect in 2020?
In terms of supporting coach together with the athletes, we're engaging with them and working together with them so that they may be able to find, like the coach said, a training camp for 3 weeks or 2 weeks. This depends on the support that we are going to get from the government, and I know and I'm sure that they are going to support us because going to Dubai is the most tournament and competition that will enable our athletes to get slots to participate in Tokyo. And also we are trying also to engage with our athletes and our coaches so that they may give also their time. We know the time is challenging, and in terms of finances, the budget is on constraint for everyone. But we are also trying to support them so that first they may have the space for training, that is the venue. They may also have the right equipment for these athletes to be able to train. So we are trying our best as a board and also with our partner, that is the government. And that's why we are calling upon also other partners to come on board and support us. You know, when you come together, great things happen. And for sure, our team will be able to participate in Tokyo. And like you asked about the medals, we are going to double them. And I'm sure that we are going to do our best despite the challenges that we are facing.
Well, Ruth Weni, she is a board member of the National Paralympic Committee, and she says 3 gold, 1 silver, 2 bronze. They want to double that medal haul, so that means 6 gold, 2 silver, and 4 bronze medals. That should be better than Rio 2016 for the rest of the contingent. Thank you very much, Ruth, for your time this morning. And also, Coach Michael Omondi, thank you very much. They are with the National Paralympic Committee. It's an event, you know, heading towards Dubai, qualifying for the Paralympic Games that will be taking place in Tokyo this year. Well, time for me to say goodbye to you and thank you for your company this morning. My name is Daniel Wahome. Our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. And for the team that put together News Check this morning, I want to say thank you very much. And to you, the viewer, thank you for your company. Up next is our Swahili News Magazine, Tamrini, and it's going to be hosted by Nancy Okware. Have a good day.
enda pale kwa Palume. Wakenya. Kari ndio hii. Oh, sorry, kifungu ndio hii kari. Ni furaha ile niko nayo. Msichali kete. Wacha tupeane mali ya wenyewe.
Ni vizuri tupe watu vitu zao.
Kuja uchukue mali yako. Kuja uchukue mali yako. Hiyo ndio shamra.
Hiyo ndio shamra ya quick bid.
Umeona? Umeamini?
Nimeamini kabisa.
Hii inaitwa nini?
Hii inaitwa kifungu.
Na hii inaitwa nini?
Toyota Probo.
Toyota Pro. Mpatie kifungu hiyo original.
Shika ingine.
Ndio
ya kuendesha.
Onesha.
Na wewe unaitwa nani?
Naitwa Steven.
Steven nani?
Kahuho.
Nakwambia uliwekelea bid ya ngapi brother?
1772 peke yake.
We. Na ndio amejishindia Pro Box. Sasa hii Pro Box inakusaidia aje?
Itakuwa inanisaidia kazi yangu ya kuuza matunda.
Unaambia je watu wa kwenye nyumbani ambao watakuona na hii?
Wote wacheze na quick bid.
Ukweli. Ni ukweli.
Kabisa.
Sasa tufanyie vizuri. Ingia upate mizigo yako bana. Ingia utoshee ukae usikie. Inakutosha sawa? Sisi tulikwambia ni aje? Bidhaa bora kwenye bei ya chini. Bidhaa bora kwenye bei ya chini.
Jiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16. Kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora.
Bayern Munich hopes to get past Holstein Kiel on Wednesday the 13th of January in their second round matchup of the DFB Cup as they seek to defend their title.
Alaba! Brilliant free kick from the Austrian!
It's another must-watch match you cannot afford to miss on Wednesday the 13th of January from 10:45 p.m. live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1.
Unichukulie kwa mfano ndani ya matatu.
Unajua Saturday yaandikangu hivyo.
Ni nini wewe?
Yaani mtu mzima na miaka zake hizo miaka zote. Mtu ajui kujua kuandika note. Note tu peke yake. Kusoma kweli inasaidia.
Kijana nini nakusumbua na mimi?
Nauliza ni ungwana?
Don't you dare insult me, okay?
Mama Angel,
don't you
point
dare.
me.
Oh, please.
Let the dead bury.
They are dead, right?
Hizo viatu zake zinanuka. Songea huko. Haya. Kwani ni vita? Ni nini wewe? Yaani wataka kumpiga. Huwezi mpiga, umpige nini?
Get ready for a 3 weeks Africa Football Feast as the new year kicks off with the 6th edition of the African Nations Championship in Cameroon. From the 16th of January to the 7th of February 2021, 16 teams from the continent will be spread across 3 cities as the best players from domestic leagues showcase their talents live on KBC Channel 1. Let's support our own. The battle for the last 16 places of the DFB Pokal, better known as German Cup, is on. As former champions Bayer Leverkusen and Eintracht Frankfurt face off, hoping to book their place against Ottoways SN. Watch it unfold live on your true sports partner KBC Channel 1 on Tuesday the 12th of January from 10:45 p.m. Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Ashok, it is impossible for you to escape from the trap that I have set for you.
Hey, Lord. Hey, Lord. I only have one son, Lord. Please spare his life, Lord. Please spare his life.
I swear if I'm lying, then you may die. Or maybe I die first.
Huh? Who had come here? This is the kind of security arrangements you have. Will someone answer me?
Yote ndawai do iko tu sawa kwa macho yako. Unataka kuwako?
Ati nini? Why are you people shouting?
Are you okay?
Mwanamke wewe ninakuona sana. Ni wanaume hapa Mombasa wameisha.
Ni nini mbaya?
Nowadays we have so many unfaithful people.
What?
We need to talk about her every time we are together.
And be very careful the way you address me.
Zako zinakuangaje? Huwezi kaa dakika mbili hata bila kuteta.
You will all sign new contracts.
And I am supposed to be briefed.
What? Taki ujinga.
Oof.
Naam, hujambo mtazamaji popote pale ulipo, karibu sana kwenye Tabrini ya Channel 1. Leo hii ikiwa ni siku ya Jumatatu tarehe 11 mwezi Januari mwaka 2021. Kunayo mengi ambayo tumekuandalia, lakini kwanza tuanze kwa kupata shajara. Karibu sana mtazamaji, naitwa Nancy Okware na mfasiri wa lugha ya ishara ni Byron Abuli. Na basi mtazamaji, kabla ya kuingia kwenye taarifa kamili, ningependa tuelekee moja kwa moja katika eneo la Karen tupate taarifa ambapo kinara wa ODM Raila Odinga anazungumza sasa hivi.
Being used kueneza hii vita katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. We are saying very categorically that we are no longer going to be used to spread violence in our country. And therefore, as Team One Nation, we are saying that Raila Amolo Odinga tosha, na hao watu wote wanasema ati Wilbur roll. We are saying that we are not going to use 16th century machine, because that is not empowerment. So we are going to be empowered through BBI, because BBI has factored in the interest of our youth, it has factored in the interests of our women, and also it has factored in the interest of the elderly people. So BBI is the only thing that is going to unite all the tribes in the entire country, that is going to unite our elderly people with the youths, that is going to unite our fathers with our mothers. And we are saying BBI tosha. Na mtu yoyote anasema anapinga BBI, huyo ni mtu anapiga unity in our entire country, and that is the enemy of the people. So those people who are calling themselves the Asla, they are spreading violence in our country, trying to create antagonism between different groups. They are saying that there is this group and there is this group of the rich people. The rich people, they depend on the poor people, and the poor people also depend on the rich people. So that's why we came up with the Team One Nation, because we are one people and we have only one president, who is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and our right honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, who is a people's president. Na tunamuunga mkono. Viva!
Members of the press, good afternoon. Team One Nation, oi! Team One Nation, oi! BBI! Amani sasa. Amani sasa. My name is Dennis Mbanda. I'm the chairman of Team One Nation and also a youth leader from Kisumu County. And as Team One Nation, we are saying no to balkanization and we are saying yes to Team One Nation. We are saying no to tokenism and we are saying yes to One Nation. We are saying no to gerrymandering and we are saying yes to Team what? One Nation. And as leaders of this country and young leaders of this country, we have had a fruitful discourse with His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga. And we have decided that from today moving forward, we are going to bring youths across the 47 counties of this nation. And we are going to carry out civic education about BBI, from the smallest village to the biggest village. Because we are saying that nobody decided to be a Luo or a Kikuyu or a Kalenjin. And therefore, as young people, we've resolved that we shall not use our second names and we will not be used by our political leaders to divide us. Team One Nation, oi! Team One Nation, oi! Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Bishop Honorable Rose Atieno Kisere Malanganga, and I'm here to endorse the BBI because I've realized there are many people telling many lies to the Kenyans. Number one, there are people telling Kenyans that BBI is going to overburden the common mwananchi. I want to make this very, very clear. In the BBI, the three major offices which are created, the Prime Minister and the 2 Deputy Prime Ministers, these people are going to be members of Parliament, meaning that there is no any extra salary that they are going to be paid. They are only going to be paid small allowances to run the office. So this is a lie by telling Kenyans that BBI is overburdening mwananchi. It is not true. BBI is the best thing that has ever happened to this country. Right now, I've been going through all over the country as a preacher and as a politician, and I've realized there's a lot of development. You go to any county right now, there is money flowing down there, and that is happening only with 15%. So what is going to happen when we are going to get 35%? There is going to be money in every county, so every Kenyan is going to benefit. God bless you and thank you. I endorse BBI. Thank you, Bob.
Members of the press, good afternoon. My name is Grace Kariuki, an MP aspirant from Laikipia East. I am delighted and humbled to be here and to have chaired a meeting with His Excellency President Raila Amolo Odinga. I want to be very categorically on BBI and say why we should endorse and why we are here to endorse BBI. With the current constitution, we know that the post for women, which were women reps, were only to be there for 10 years. But the good thing with the BBI has come to make sure that all women have been considered, whereby we shall be having a senator woman who will be there in Senate and ensure that money has been brought to the counties. And secondly, we know that there was a bill that was brought to Senate saying that the Parliament need to be dissolved simply because the 2/3 gender rule was not followed. But with the BBI has created this platform for women, where we've been crying for very many times that women have been left out. And thirdly, when it comes to youth, who are over 60% of this republic, we've seen the youth that they'll be getting funds whereby they're able to start businesses and given approximate of 5 years, paying the same amount with no interest. So as a young politician, we are there to endorse BBI and to say that we should not be told why BBI is not good. We should go and read the BBI and see the benefits, how we as Kenyans are going to benefit. And that, last but not the least, always whenever we had elections, we had our economy had to go at a standstill, which makes our economy to go down. So basically, if we have BBI that even during the times of election, we have no mercy in learning of the country. So basically, that's why we are supporting BBI, to ensure that we have one Kenya and we have unity among the 47 tribes in Kenya. Thank you so very much and God bless.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Lillian Nabuleje. I'm aspiring to be a governor, Laikipia County, next year. I want to thank God for the leadership of Kenya and those people who have given themselves selflessly to support Kenya. Each one of us can attest to the fact that our Prime Minister, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, has fought for Kenya from days up to now. All the developments, most of the developments that are taking place right now, the road network and all that, he was the initiator of it. So given a chance that is behind BBI and given all the chances that BBI is bringing to us as academicians, as the youth, as women, I support BBI. And on the same note, the people have talked about BBI just from others. They have not had time to read BBI. I'm encouraging the youth to get into BBI report, read it, and give the people who are everybody who is depending on them informative information, for lack of a better word. Don't just go around dismissing what people have invested time in. With just one statement that BBI is just for creating positions for people. If at all BBI, of course, BBI going through will give other people positions, why can't we then embrace it based on the opportunities that it's bringing to the youth? I'm a computer scientist. I've actually been a lecturer in JKUAT in computer science, pursuing my PhD in computer science. If you give me a wheelbarrow today, it will not be of any use to me. Give me a position, give me a chance to serve the nation, give me a chance to serve my county, give me a chance to serve my ward, and to encourage other young women in our country and the world at large. So with the leadership of His Excellency Amolo Odinga and also our chairman Maina Jenga, we are here to say Kenya will never shed blood again because of politics. Let's embrace BBI, which is inclusive of everyone, and together we will make Kenya proud, and the world at large will come and borrow from us. Thank you and God bless you.
Today we have come here because we wanted to reason together. We met Baba, and Baba will remain to be Baba for all people. And we have decided that this country must come together for one purpose. And we have to have one system of leadership so that we can be able to run the country in a good manner. You remember a long time ago, during an election period, Baba has been winning election, and every time there is violence. This time round, we want to tell you, Baba, with your principals who want to be candidates, of which you are going to manage them, I want to tell you that this system of BBI is the best for this country. In fact, BBI is giving opportunity to every region to be represented by its leader. When we come to BBI, we see that the position that we had for women rep, that is going to be in the Senate, is also going to be given money to spend as they used to have. There has been a lot of differences. People were not understanding, saying that the money that was with the women rep is going to be removed. No, it is going to be there. I am the ambassador of peace and also the ambassador of BBI. And also I'll be the national coordinator coordinating every place. So those people who are calling themselves hustlers, we are the best hustlers in life. And we have been there. And we are known in history that we used to go without shoes. Now that we are driving, we can be able to tell people of this republic that people should not pray to be hustlers. they should be spread to be wealthy people and people of good understanding. Our forefathers and our fathers took us to school, and we are now educated. We are degree holders, and we are able to do things in the right way. We can be able to understand between good and bad. And when this country was going in the wrong direction, Baba met with His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta. At that time, the country was almost going to fight, but Baba chose to shake hands with Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, we saw that thing to be the best thing that Baba did. He was the genesis of everything. And since he was the genesis, he should be also be the person to continue guiding us in this process. As we have gathered here with the various political parties, but this thing that we are going to fight for is peace for this country. You can have everything. You can have money, but without peace, you cannot be able to progress. So each one of us need peace. And the love that Baba has shown us is why we have come here, not as a person of our own community, but as a Kenyan. In Tanzania, we have had people calling themselves Ndugu na dada. Watanzania wanasema ndugu. Sasa tunataka Wakenya waendelee kusema wandugu. Ukiangalia Baba, last time wakati walikuwa uchaguzi na kina Kibaki, Baba alisema Kibaki tosha, na tukaendelea na tukakuwa na amani. Kila wakati ni Baba. Sisi ndio tulikuwa tunafanya maandamano na Baba, hata kulala kwa barabara. Sisi ndio tumeishi kwa jela na Baba. Hata ile sero ulikuwa mimi niliingia hapo. Ilisemekana sisi ni watu wa kufanya maandamano. Sasa ndio sisi tumekuja sasa kusema sisi tunataka amani. Na watu wengine sasa wameanza kusema ati wanataka watu waendelee kuhaso. Sasa unahaso paka lini? Serikali inafaa kuleta ile kazi ilisema kazi milioni moja. Kazi milioni moja. Hii kazi vijana wapewe. Patia kazi ambassador, katia mwingine waziri, head of parastatos, lakini si kupea mtu wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow ni mimi ninafaa kupea mtu ama kijana mwingine apea mtu mwingine wheelbarrow. Lakini hiyo ni kitu unaweza jitafutia. Sisi tunataka opportunities. Hii Kenya yetu yote tuko watu milioni na mamilioni na makabila. Sasa ukiangalia hii timu yetu, sio hii timu, tuko 47 counties, represented in every 47 counties. Na sasa tutazunguka kila pahali na tutasaidia Baba kupanda mlima. Utaweza? Utawezana? Ukipewa utawezana? Sasa tutasaidia Baba kupanda milima. Na usidanganywe na mtu Baba. Hapa hakuna upinzani. Watu wote wanajua Baba ni nani. Na wanajua Baba anaenda kwenda. Sisi tumekuwa na Mheshimiwa Gideon Moi ambaye ni chairman wetu wa KANU. Na tumekubaliana ya kwamba tutashikana mikono na watu wa BBI. Tumesign contract na Jubilee. Pia ODM inakuja kufanya kazi. Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta ametuwekea mkono. Sasa tusonge na tusafishe Kenya. Mheshimiwa, tunakuambia wazee kila wakati wanaenda huko Bondo kukula nyama na kukula nini. Hata hawa vijana wakubalie watu 10,000 wajae huko Bondo tuogelee Lake Victoria na tuone vile tutashikana na hawa vijana. Tukirudi kutoka huku kwa lake tukule masamaki, tukue kama Wajaluo. Sasa tutaweza kupanda hii milima. Na Baba usiogope. Last time ulisema uliona sijui crocodile. This time there will be no crocodiles. We are going to clear everything. Na safari itakuwa safi. So Baba tunakuambia tuko na wewe na tuko na hawa wengine, hata ingawa wewe umezidi hawa umri. Na siwezi tutaelewa, wewe utawapanga. Tutaona vile tutaelekea hii safari. Baba wewe ni jirani hapa. Mimi nilikuja kunywa chai kama jirani. Na tumeishi hapa miaka yote. Sijaona mambo yote. Baba amekuwa mtulivu. Sisi ndio machairman ya kijiji hii na hata akiitwa mkutano ya kijiji anakuja na atambui yeye ni prime minister, na tuna organize yeye, na akitu organize sisi pia ni vizuri. So tunasema wale mayouth wako huko Kenya, tunataka kuambia sisi hatutaki kuwa hustler nation. Sisi tunataka kuwa masonko. Maso? Na ile kitu mzuri yote ambaye baba utapata, rushia hawa vijana. Sio mahwirubaro ama takataka ya vitu kidogo kidogo. Sasa unaweza iba 10 million, unaletea mtu wheelbarrow. 10 billion, unaletea mtu wheelbarrow. What are you doing? You are fooling people. Na hiyo fooling people, you can fool some people sometime, but you cannot fool them all the time. Sisi wa Kenya tumerevuka na tunataka kusonga mbele na amani na maendeleo, na tutaenda huku inchi yote tuzunguke. Nafikiri hii ni wakati yetu hata sisi kupepea na ndege. Kupepea na ndege? Kwa sababu baba yuko hapa, hizi ndege wanapepea naye. Sisi hatutaki bicycle ama wheelbarrow, wacha tupepee juu na ndege. Hatutaki kwenda kukula chai kwa kioski tukijifanya sisi ni mahasola. Sisi tunataka kwenda Serena Intercontinental Hotel na beach, na at least twende South Africa. Hata kama ni kuuza carbon credit tuuze, ili tutajirike kabisa. Sisi tunataka inchi ambaye iko na utajiri. Na kwa sababu baba wewe ndio uko na maneno, nataka nikukaribisha. Wewe utazidi kuwa baba. Hata mimi naambiaga watu wa Kano, mimi ndio chairman wa Kano Central Province hiyo, na Mount Kenya region yote hiyo yote, na niko na pia chairman wa Laikipia hapa na coordinator, niko na wipe hapa. Sasa hii machama yote ndogo wewe sanya yote pamoja ingie kwa bogi. Bogi ni ngori, bogi ni genje, bogi ni ngumi ni mbwegze. Unaona baba, unafanya hivi, hebu fanya hivi. Mikono mbili. Bogi ni gweze. Ndio vijana wanasema. So karibu baba kuja ongelesha hawa Kenya. Sisi tuko imara dai. BBI. BBI. Unasema BBI Kenya moja. BBI Kenya moja. BBI Kenya moja. BBI ni sasa, na kama sio sasa ni sasa hivi. Baba, ambia hii watu ile kazi umenipea. Mimi nimekuwa balozi ya amani na balozi ya BBI. Niongojee huko mashinani. Tuongee huko mashinani. Na kama uko na swali unataka kuuliza za baba, niulize kwanza. Thank you.
Asante. Vile nilivyosema, I welcome this team here this morning. It's a team of, you can see, young people. Some of them are student leaders, some of them are youth leaders, some of them are coming up entrepreneurs in our country. And we have spent a good time, a good portion of this morning talking about a number of issues. I've taken them along a journey down the memory lane to where we're coming from, because most of them are young people. You are not there when we had a colonial government in this country. They don't know what colonialism was like, what kind of animal. They don't know how independence came about. Then they don't also understand the post-independent development until they came about. And this happens to be the biggest portion of our society today. Over 75% of our population are people who were not there when we got independence. So therefore they don't understand, and that's why some of them sometimes make uninformed decisions. But it is good that to have this conversation, because they also have informed me about their own experiences in life, the kind of challenges that they are facing in our society today, and what they also see as possible solutions to those challenges and problems. Nations make progress by constantly reviewing their path and changing course and starting afresh to respond to emerging challenges. America did this after the Civil War. Britain did this when colonialism became untenable. They did not leave colonies because they wanted to leave, but because they were forced by circumstances to hand over independence to those countries. China also changed course in order to be able to feed the people and create more wealth in China itself. Singapore went into a union with Malaysia, which was short-lived. Then they came out and defined their own path to the future. The same thing happened also closer to us here in South Africa. Some of you were old enough when South Africa was attaining independence after centuries of apartheid rule. But this has happened. So through BBI, Kenya is changing course and starting afresh to deal with issues which we've seen. Things like corruption, inequality, violent elections, exclusion, and so on and so forth. We are starting afresh. This is the reason why we have brought BBI, to enable Kenyans to have a fresh beginning. So majority of Kenyans, almost all Kenyans, are poor people. You can call them hustlers. But what we want is to see how we can move our people from this status of poverty to status of prosperity. When they were fighting for independence, I remember so well, they were saying that we want to remove this brutal and inhumane rule of the Wazungus so that we can bring our own people to lead this country and then deal with our three major enemies at that time: ignorance, poverty, and disease. Unfortunately, because of bad governance, over the years, some of those enemies have even become stronger. Like poverty, still with us up to now. A number of Kenyans still cannot access health care. And then quite a number of Kenyans are still ignorant. So we want to deal with these issues more effectively. And this cannot happen unless we change course. And it's not just a matter of using words, but coming up with proper strategies to deal with these issues. So we want to pay tribute also to Kenyans, young and old, who keep on hustling genuinely out there. They never steal from fellow Kenyans, and eventually they also make it. You've seen people who have been able to change their social status, but you have not given them proper environment for upward social mobility. This is what we need. That if somebody was born in poverty, he is not condemned to live and die in poverty. That there is opportunity for them to advance socially to another status than the one that their parents lived in. This is what is called development. This is how development is measured. And this is what we want to do. Say that the people who are disadvantaged are there in plenty. The BBI wants to create a level playing field for all of them. This is what we are talking about. And it's not sweet talking, the people. I gave an example the other day of Germany, and I can repeat it today here. I lived in Germany for 8 years. And when I went to Germany, it was reeling from the effects of the Second World War. How did they get to the Second World War? This was because of a dire situation created by the Great Depression of 1933, from late 20s to 33, where people were completely deprived. There were no jobs, jobs had collapsed, industries had collapsed, there was poverty, there was hunger all over the place. In the midst of all this, one Messiah, in inverted commas, emerged, a young man called Adolf Hitler. And he was a sweet talker, and was able to convince youth. He gave them brown shirts they were wearing. They were all shaving their hairs clean and moving around. That we want a new Germany. Germany will be great again. And he identified as the Jew as the enemy, merely because as a small young boy, he had a Jew teacher who, while punishing him, caned him so painfully. So to him, a Jew was an enemy. Then began to say that all Jews are bad. The only good Jew is a dead one. But even the dead one, if his bone scratches you, you will die. So he says what they call the final solution to the Jewish problem was to exterminate them. And it started the war against the Jews. People came up with an ideology called the Aryan race, Arya. After they had killed so many Jews, then he and he had put up a big machinery because he developed a sense of nationalism, of unity, Germany above all. Then he now was ready now to face other countries. So he declared war, attacked Poland, attacked France, then began the war, and finally attacked Britain, and the whole world was at war. Attacked the Soviet Union. Then war started. At the end of the 10 years, because he told them, give me 10 years, I will give you a new Germany. After 10 years, there was that new Germany, but it was not the Germany those people could recognize. It was a Germany which was totally in ruins. The homes, the villages, the industries were all in ruins, and so many million deaths all over the world. So this is why people should be careful where we're going. Kenyans should choose correctly and clearly as we go forward, that they're not lured into certain empty philosophies. We know where we come from as a people, where we want to go, and what to use to get there. And that's why I'm appealing to Kenyans to move away from negative ethnic politics. Let us not talk about a tribal unity. But let us first unite as Kikuyus before we go to now unite with the Merus and Embus to become Gema. Then we now come to unite with the rest of the Kenyans. Let us first unite as Kambas, unite as Luhyas, unite as Luos, or as Mijikendas, as Masais, as Kalenjins, as Turkanas, and so on. Let us begin to unite as Kenyans, and let us be differentiated on the basis of ideology, on policy. That is what is important. Ethnicity is not important. It's but a name. Nobody chose to be born a Mkamba. Nobody chose to be born a Mdorobo. That is an accident, a biological accident. You did not choose your parents, but you are a Kenyan, and be a proud Kenyan. Be proud to be a Kenyan. We have come from far and there have been a lot of struggles to reach where we have reached. In the course of it, many Kenyans have suffered. Many Kenyans have died. Some people don't really understand that there used to be a time when people used to be thrown from 23rd stories of Nyayo House through the window and thrown down, and then they say that they committed suicide. People don't know how the Nyayo House torture chambers look like, what life was in there. People don't know that there are Kenyans who were maimed and ruined completely. The other year we buried Kenneth Matiba, a very intelligent, bright, successful businessman. His life was ruined in detention with a stroke. Last year we buried Charles Robia, the first African mayor of the city of Nairobi. Again, died a very unhealthy person because of what happened to him in detention. Many people, Koigi Wamwere, were there. Oyugi Akongo professor were there. Otieno Makonyango, Kaimoji Wachira, Professor Katana Mkangi, our former Chief Justice Willie Mutunga. All of these people who suffered seriously. And when we were at the height of achieving victory, then came an organization called YK92.
Na mtazamaji, hizo ni picha za moja kwa moja kutoka Karen, ambapo kinara wa ODM Raila Odinga leo hii amewakaribisha vijana na makundi mbalimbali chini ya mwavuli wa Team One Nation, na wamezungumza kuhusiana na masuala mbalimbali, ikiwemo wakisema ya kwamba wanaunga mkono BBI, maana yake wanasema ya kwamba italeta manufaa kwa wananchi. Naye kinara wa ODM Raila Odinga katika hotuba yake, baadhi ya masuala ambayo amegusia ni kwamba itakuwa ni bora kurekebisha mambo katika mataifa, manake mataifa yanapofanya mabadiliko, hivyo basi anapata fursa ya kufanya ama kutekeleza yale ambayo yalikuwa hajatekelezwa, na vile vile kurekebisha masuala mbalimbali katika mataifa ambayo yangependa kurekebishwa. Kwa mfano humu nchini amezungumza kuhusiana na ripoti ya BBI akisema ya kwamba itatoa nafasi kuhakikisha kwamba kila mmoja anahusishwa katika serikali, na vile vile kuondoa zile siasa za mgawanyiko ambazo zinashuhudiwa hasa baada ya uchaguzi mkuu. Na vile vile Odinga amewataka Wakenya kusalia na utulivu, kuachana na masuala ya ukabila, na hivyo basi kuwatafuta viongozi ambao wanazungumza kuhusiana na sera na masuala ambayo yataimarisha maisha yao. Na basi ni taarifa ambayo mwanahabari wetu Kevin Washira atakuwa anatupa maelezo zaidi kwenye taarifa zetu mwendo wa saa 7 kamili. Lakini sasa hivi kwenye studio mtazamaji, tuko naye Susan Nyabena ambaye ni mkurugenzi mkuu wa Gender Inc. Na bila shaka Susan, hatuna muda mwingi, lakini pengine tulikuwa tuzungumze kuhusiana na swala la dhuluma za kijinsia. Tumeshuhudia kwamba hasa wiki hii ambayo imepita kumekuwa na ongezeko la masuala ya dhuluma za kijinsia. Hebu kwanza tuzungumze sasa hivi unapoangalia hali nchini, kuna chochote ambacho kimeimarika ama mambo yanazidi kuwa mabaya zaidi?
Naweza sema mambo yanazidi kuwa mabaya kwa upande wa wanawake na wanaume pamoja. Siwezi sema hii ni swala la wanawake peke yake. Pamoja, wanawake na wanaume, mambo yanakuwa mabaya. Yeah.
Na tunapoanza kuhusiana hili swala la dhuluma za kijinsia, wengi wanaposikia hilo neno wanadhani tu ya kwamba ni kumpiga mke, manake hayo ndio yale ambayo wengi wamezoea. Pengine umweleze mtazamaji kuna aina ngapi ya dhuluma za kijinsia humu nchini?
Kuna aina 5, nitasema na Kimombo alafu niseme na Kiswahili. Ya kwanza ni physical violence, tunasema dhuluma ya kimwili. And then kuna sexual violence, dhuluma ya kimapenzi. Kuna economical, psychological and emotional violence, tunaweza sema ni dhuluma ya kihisia. And then kuna harmful and traditional practices, tutasema ni dhuluma ya kitamaduni. Alafu kuna naweza sema ndio inaanza it's an emerging issue, ni cyberbullying, dhuluma ya mitandao. Nikiweza sema hivyo, sijui kama ni Kiswahili sanifu, lakini dhuluma ya mtandao.
Na katika kati ya hizo zote ni ipi ambayo kwa tathmini yenu ni kwamba imekithiri sana hasa humu nchini?
Naweza sema dhuluma ya kimapenzi, that is sexual violence. Kwa dhuluma ya kimwili, that is physical violence. Kuna dhuluma ya kinyumbani ambao watu wanajua kama domestic violence. Hizi mbili ndio kiini sana. Alafu sahi venye I think watu venye wamekuwa nyumbani, tumeshinda mtandao, ni sasa cyberbullying imeanza kukitika. Unapata si wanawake pekee, hata wanaume wanapitia hizi dhuluma.
Manake umezungumza kuhusiana na swala muhimu ya kwamba wanaume vile vile wanapitia changamoto kama hizo, na wengi wanaposikia kuhusu masuala ya kijinsia wanachofikiria ni kwamba ni mwanamke tu ambaye anatetewa. Lakini pale katika Gender Inc ulikuwa umenieleza ya kwamba mnagusia vile vile masuala ambayo yanawaathiri wanaume. Na tunachofahamu ni kwamba kuna baadhi ya wanaume ambao wanasema mimi ni mwanaume, ikiwa napitia changamoto fulani itabidi nimetulia hata kwenda kutafuta msaada. Je, mmeona mabadiliko kwamba sasa hivi wanaume kwa wingi wanazidi kujitolea angalau kupata msaada?
Si wengi. Bado naweza sema jamii imeweka wanaume wawe wale si watu wa kuongea. Ukiwa na shida unavumilia, wewe ni mwanaume. So tangu tukue wadogo, I think hata sisi kifamilia wanaume wengi wamelelewa kujua kwamba shida yoyote unaweza kuwa nayo unafaa uishughulikie kama mwanaume, hauongei, kama uwezi lia, maybe uende kunywe pombe kwenye bar, alafu maybe mawazo yatateremka na pombe. Lakini tunaweza sema saa hii tunajaribu kuambia wanaume, especially kwa Gender Inc tunaambia wanaume wajitokeze. Si lazima useme jina lako, tunaweza kuweka anonymous, so unaweza ongelelea shida zako, kama kuna kitu unataka usaidiwe, kama kuna kitu Gender Inc inaweza fanya ikusaidie katika shida unayopitia, tuko hapo kwa wanaume pia.
Na hili swala wakati wa janga la COVID-19 tulipokea ripoti mbalimbali ya kwamba mizozo ya nyumbani ilionekana kuongezeka na vile vile dhulma za kijinsia, kimapenzi vile vile zilionekana kuongezeka. Na ningependa kuhusisha hili swala na familia kufahamu wenzao katika familia. Manake kafyu ilipowekwa ilimaanisha ya kwamba ikiwa mume alikuwa akikwenda mahali kunywa pombe, sasa hivi analazimika kuja nyumbani mapema, hivyo basi anakaa na familia yake, wanajuana vyema, na unapata ya kwamba changamoto zinaingia pale. Unaweza ukasema ya kwamba familia nyingi hazijuani ama tatizo hasa linatokea wapi, ndiposa wengi wajipate katika athari kama hizi?
Kwa kweli naweza sema familia nyingi hazijuani. Nikiongelelea hii mambo naweza sema ni mambo ya niseme marriage, ndoa. Si sana sana mambo ya kijinsia, ni mambo ya ndoa. Lakini watu wengi wakiingia kwenye ndoa, hata sisi I think hata wasichana kama sisi, unaambiwa venye unafaa uende ukue mzuri kwa mwanaume, aulizi maswali. So unapata kwa ndoa watu hawazungumzi. Hakuna mtu anasema shida zake. Mmeamka asubuhi, kuna breakfast, kila mtu aende zake, mrudi jioni, mambo yanaendelea. Sasa mkikaa kwa nyumba ndio mnaanza kujua okay, maybe mume wangu anakuanga hivi, ama bibi yangu unasikia kama bibi anapiga kelele sana, lakini si hivyo, ni juu kwa unakuwa nyumbani. So wakati huu inakaa kama huu maybe bibi ni msumbufu ama anataka vitu mingi. Na kwa kweli unapata wengine maybe walipoteza kazi. Kupoteza kazi kuna mawazo wengine waki-express, utapata kuna hiyo violence, kuna dhuluma aina mingi. Na pia ni pamoja kwa wanaume na kwa wanawake. Kuna wanawake pia wakiwa na mawazo, wakiwa na hasira, inajitokeza kwa hiyo violence.
Na ningependa tuzungumze kuhusiana na dalili ambazo mtu anaweza kuangalia kwa mtu fulani na akafahamu ya kwamba bila shaka huyu mtu kuna dalili kwamba katika siku za usoni atakuwa hivi, ama kuna ule uwezo wa kudhulumu mtu fulani. Manake tunapoangalia mfano wiki hii ambayo imepita, ni kwamba tumeshuhudia yule kijana ambaye anasemekana kuiangamiza familia yake. Vile vile kunaye mwanadada ambaye anasemekana kuoa na mpenzi wake. Ni kesi ambazo bado zinaendelea. Lakini unapoangalia ni kwamba hawa ni kana kwamba hawakuwa nafahamu ya kwamba mtu fulani ana tatizo fulani, hivyo basi anahitaji msaada. Pengine kabla ya kujihusisha na mtu yoyote, ni dalili zipi ambazo unaangalia na kweli kuona hapa itabidi nimekuwa nikiwa ninaogopa ama ninakaa nikiwa tayari kwa lolote?
Hiyo ni changamoto kubwa, sababu Ukiwa kwa mapenzi kuna vitu mingi uwezi ona. I think mapenzi naweza sema mapenzi inafanya uwezi ona vitu mingi. So kabla ukuje kujua kwamba mtu uko naye maybe uko usoni anaweza kudhulumu, ni ngumu kidogo. Lakini naweza sema kwanza kwa sisi the young people ni vizuri kuwa na hizi mazungumzo. Mkienda si kila wakati mnakutana nyumbani. Nyumbani kila mtu anakuanga best behavior. Mtu atakuwa na ile best behavior. So mkikutana huku nje unaweza ona venye anaongelesha watu wengine, maybe venye anaongelesha mama yake, dada zake, vitu kama hizo. Hapo kidogo kidogo unaweza ona moja ama mbili kitu inaweza kupatia kwa usoni. Na mimi upeana mfano mmoja. Ukiwa maybe kwa mahusiano, maybe ukaona kuna venye unasema kesi aina mingi zinaendelea. Unaweza uliza mwanaume ama huyo mwanamke, katika kesi hii wewe unaona aje? Unafikiria aje? Akikupatia opinion yake, kutoka hapo unaweza kaa ufanye uone kuna moja mbili hapa venye amesema. Mwingine anasema mimi nikiwa na bibi nimuongeleshe na akose kusikia, naweza mpiga kofi nimkumbushe kwamba mimi ndio mwanaume. Usijidanganye kwamba ni yule tu mwenye huko ndiye atapigwa kofi. Karibuni usoni ni wewe hiyo kofi. Mimi utakuwa unapigwa hiyo kofi. So hayo maswala ndogo ndogo, si zile vitu kubwa kubwa. Unaona maybe nilimwomba pesa hakunipa. Ni zile tu vitu ndogo ndogo zenye I think mapenzi inakuwa imetufunika macho.
Na muda umekwisha, lakini kwa kifupi kabisa, pengine kauli yako ya mwisho kwa wale ambao wanapitia changamoto, wale ambao wanaona ya kwamba kuna mtu ambaye anahitaji msaada, kwa kifupi. Naweza sema kwa wenye wameathiriwa, kuna aibu, ndio kuna aibu, lakini tukubali kwamba tunahitaji msaada. Kama kuna mtu mwenye mko karibu, familia, rafiki, mpigie simu. Wacha ajue unapitia changamoto fulani na uweze kusaidika. Kujifunga ndani inaleta mambo mengine. So ukikuwa kwenye shida, ukiwa katika aina such particular situation, ni vizuri upigie mtu simu, utafute baby to organization to nini uweze kusaidika. Na shukran sana. Bila shaka ni mengi ambayo tungezungumzia, lakini bila shaka tutakupa mwaliko siku nyingine ili mradi tuzungumze kuhusu masuala yote. Lakini shukran sana kwa muda wako. Mtazamaji, huyu amekuwa ni Susan Nyabena ambaye ni mkurugenzi mkuu kunradhi wa Gender Inc. Bila shaka tumezungumza kuhusiana na dhulma za kijinsia katika jamii mbalimbali, na basi kufikia hapo tunafika kwenye tamati ya Tamrini. Mengi zaidi utakuwa unayapata mwendo wa saa 7 kwa lugha ya Kimombo, ukiletewa naye Safina Acheng Ouma. Naitwa Nancy Okware, mfasiri wa lugha ya ishara ni Byron Abuli. Kwa heri.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Tonight on Grapevine, we crisscross different continents. We host Stana all the way from China.
This for the gang beat tukigonga tuna. Kwanza nilirelease time ya lockdown. I was really ile time sababu we were affected with corona first one when everyone else was wanaendelea with their own things. You better go with the flow.
Imani alifanya vituko. You know, when she went on stage, she had this dera. Kumbe, little did people know, she had another outfit. Ya kuwatesa.
The tallest model in Sub-Sahara Africa is also in the show.
You know, I was about the same height with the tallest model in the world, the tallest professional model at the time, you know, the Guinness World Record. And the same model had 2 records, which is the longest limb in the world.
See you at 10.
What you gotta do?
Hello viewers, I greet you all in the name of Jesus Christ, Son of the living God. I'm Veronica Juguna Mrs. I love the Lord Jesus Christ as my personal Savior, and I'm from Deliverance Church Karagita in Nairobi. I want to give a message titled A True Friend. And my message today is from the book of 3 John, the book of John, 3 John, chapter 1, from verse 1. Dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. It gave me great joy to have some brothers come and tell about your faithfulness to the truth and how you continue to walk in the truth. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth. Dear friend, you are faithful in what you are doing. For the brothers, even though they are strangers to you, they have told the church about your love. You will do well to send them on their way in a manner worthy of God. It was for the sake of the name that they went out, receiving no help from the pagans. We ought, therefore, to show hospitality to such men, so that we may work together for the truth. The Bible is talking about a true friend. John here is talking to the brethren at that time, to this brother called Gaius. He was a true friend, and he was being addressed in the Bible. You see somebody addressing someone as a true friend, that means this person is a true friend. And he was praying that they may enjoy good health, that all may go well with them. A good friend wishes the other well in everything that he does. A good friend wishes the other good health and that all may go well with your friends. A good friend wishes even others to have a good time in their lives. It is with great joy to have some brothers come and tell about your faithfulness. Yani, he is so happy to hear that these people were working together